And thanks to our friends on the 5, great show. This is a Fox News alert. Welcome to Hannity. Breaking news tonight in the aftermath of the brutal terror attack in Manchester, England, that has killed over 20 people, including children, and injuring dozens more. The UK has now raised its terror threat level to critical. Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Monica Crowley, Jay Sekulow, Sarah Carter, John Solomon, Michelle Malkin all join us tonight with reaction. Also, in a minute, I have a very important message for you, my audience. But first, President Trump is finally confronting evil in our time head-on with moral clarity in the fight to defeat radical Islamic terrorism. American leadership is now needed more than ever, and that is tonight's very important opening monologue. So what we saw take place last night in Manchester, England, is the definition of pure evil in our time. ISIS is now claiming responsibility after a suicide bomber targeted an Ariana Grande concert full of children and teenagers. An 8-year-old girl is among the victims lost in this evil, barbaric terrorist attack. And witnesses are saying that the explosion sprayed bolts and other metal pieces, likely intended to cause the maximum amount of destruction and death. Now, tonight, America and the world, you face a choice. We can either roll over, appease, capitulate to this radical and evil ideology that even targets innocent people, including women and young children, like we saw in Manchester, or we can draw a line in the sand and fight back against this evil in our time and defeat this cancer, radical Islamic terrorism, once and for all. Now, President Trump, he's made his choice. He is no longer willing to stand by in face of terror. Instead, he is calling on the world of good people to come together and fight back. And earlier today, the president addressed this act of terrorism from Manchester. Watch this.
So many young, beautiful, innocent people living and enjoying their lives murdered by evil losers in life. I won't call them monsters because they would like that term. They would think that's a great name. I will call them from now on losers because that's what they are. They're losers. And we'll have more of them. But they're losers. Just remember that.
And over the weekend in Saudi Arabia, President Trump gave a historic speech. No apologies, no political correctness, none of the weakness displayed by President Obama over the past 8 years. President Trump leading from the front, identifying what is really at stake, that this is a battle between good and evil. Watch these powerful words.
It's a choice between two futures, and it is a choice America cannot make for you. A better future is only possible if your nations drive out the terrorists and drive out the extremists. Drive them out. Drive them out of your places of worship. Drive them out of your communities. Drive them out of your holy land. And drive them out of this earth.
Muslim nations must be willing to take on the burden if we are going to defeat terrorism and send its wicked ideology into oblivion. The first task in this joint effort is for your nations to deny all territory to the foot soldiers of evil. Every country in the region has an absolute duty to ensure that terrorists find no sanctuary on their soil.
Remember, President Trump said that in Saudi Arabia before what happened in Manchester. The president is now using principled realism, rooted in partnership, not perfection, as he said. The president wasn't lecturing, wasn't talking down to these nations. By the way, they're not easily going to change the way they do things. Instead, in front of 50 Arab leaders, 50 countries, he's calling on them to eradicate the foot soldiers of evil. And he's asking the Arab world to now step up and to do its part and to come together and unite around a common goal, to defeat ISIS and radical Islamic terrorism, evil in our time. That is now needed, now more than ever. Also tonight, The unsolved murder of former DNC staffer Seth Rich continues to get a huge amount of attention. Now, I want to say something. I totally, completely understand how upset, how hard this is on this family, especially over the recent coverage of Seth's death. Now, I have been communicating with them. I got a very heartfelt note. I also sent them a heartfelt note back. I reached out personally today to Seth's brother, Aaron. I expressed my condolences out over how hard, how difficult this has been for him and his family. And as I told Aaron, my heart, my soul, my prayers, everything goes out to them in this very difficult time. I'm a father. I know, I don't think I'd ever recover from losing a child or a brother. I honestly don't think I would. I cannot imagine the pain that they are in. And as a father, when I saw the video of the parents online saying they want answers, and I know the brother Aaron started a GoFundMe page, it truly pained me. However, out of respect for the family's wishes for now, I am not discussing this matter at this time. Now, let me explain this. There are so many issues here, not the least of which is the Democratic push of their Russia narrative, collusion, Trump, Russia narrative, Trump, Russia narrative. There's something clearly happening here. The Destroy Trump media, the Democrats, they have been pushing that Russian tin foil hat conspiracy theory with zero evidence. For example, earlier today on Capitol Hill, former CIA Director John Brennan was asked about Russia collusion. Take a look.
I encountered and am aware of information and intelligence that revealed contacts and interactions between Russian officials and U.S. persons involved in the Trump campaign that I was concerned about because of known Russian efforts to suborn such individuals, and it raised questions in my mind, again, whether or not the Russians were able to gain the cooperation of those individuals. I don't know whether or not such collusion, that's your term, such collusion existed. I don't know. But I know that there was a sufficient basis of information and intelligence that required further investigation by the Bureau to determine whether or not U.S. persons were actively conspiring, colluding with Russian officials.
And you remember back in March, during an interview on Meet the Press, the former Obama Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, he also said no evidence of Russia collusion. Watch this.
We did not include any evidence in our report, and I say our, that's NSA, FBI, and CIA with my office, the Director of National Intelligence, that had anything, that had any reflection of collusion between members of the Trump campaign and the Russians. There was no evidence of that included in our report.
I understand that, but does it exist?
Not to my knowledge.
Now, predictably, Clapper has been changing his tune about what he said in March, but he's not the only person who has come forward and admitted that there is zero evidence of collusion. But yet they keep pushing this narrative in the Destroy Trump media. For example, listen to top Democratic lawmakers. They're saying there's no evidence. Watch this.
Have you seen anything that suggests any collusion between the Russians and the Trump campaign?
Well, there's an awful lot of smoke there, let's put it that way. People that might have said they were involved, to what extent they were involved, to what extent the president might have known about these people or whatever. There's nothing there from that standpoint that we have seen directly linking our president to any of that.
The last time we spoke, Senator, I asked you if you had actually seen evidence of collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians, and you said to me, and I'm quoting you now, you said, not at this time. Has anything changed since we spoke last?
Well, no, it hasn't.
I know we need to go soon, but just to be clear, there has been no actual evidence yet.
No, it has not been.
Okay. I just want
no, it has not.
Now, in addition to Democrats admitting that they've seen no evidence whatsoever, back in January, while testifying under oath, James Clapper also said no evidence that Russia affected the actual vote tallies. His words, not mine.
First, we cannot say they did not change any vote tallies or anything of that sort.
Yeah, I'm just talking
we have no way of gauging the impact that certainly the intelligence community can't gauge the impact it had on choices the electorate made.
So there's no evidence of collusion. Nothing to suggest that actual votes were changed. Now, of course, these facts have not stopped the Destroy Trump media night after night after night. They have been pushing this tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. It is beyond shameful. It's not rooted in fact. No evidence, no votes impacted. I'm not the one saying it. You just heard it for yourself. Take a look.
Wouldn't it be nice if it was just completely, totally, absolutely impossible to suspect that Vladimir Putin orchestrated what happened in Syria this week so that his friend in the White House could have a big night with missiles and all of the praise he's picked up over the last 24 hours? Wouldn't it be so nice if you couldn't even in your wildest dreams imagine a scenario like that?
I'll say it again. This Russian connection just keeps building, and every time it builds and expands, you have to wonder if Trump himself isn't worried about what's swirling around under the covers.
CNN has learned new details of the FBI investigation into potential links between individuals associated with the Trump campaign and the Russian government.
Specifically, Willie, I think what it means is that a federal judge found that people in Trump's organization were colluding with the Russians.
So we've shown you no evidence of Russia collusion, no votes changed. The media, Destroy Trump media, has completely misrepresented the facts. I want to say this to you, my loyal audience, which is very important. Please do not interpret what I'm saying tonight to mean anything. Don't read into this. I promise you I am not going to stop doing my job. To the extent of my ability, I am not going to stop trying to find the truth. That's what we do here every single day. That effort is not stopping in any way, shape, matter, or form. I am continuing the work that I promised to do every day for you, and at the proper time, we shall continue and talk a lot more. As for my job here at the Fox News Channel, there is an effort now abound to silence me. Media Matters is attacking my advertising base. That is what we have called on this program liberal fascism, attack, boycott, all in an effort to silence conservatives. I serve at the pleasure of the Fox News Channel, and I am here to do my job every night. I'm under contract, as long as they seem to want me.